So, how's it going, guys? This is Jarl from fragworld.org, and I'm here with
Martin Bruusgaard. I'm the lead designer of The Secret World.
Cool, cool. How's your PAX going, man?
Perfect. It's been so much fun to show the game to both press and public, and people are receiving the game really nicely, so we're super excited about being here.
That's really cool, man. Yeah, I got to take a look at the game yesterday. It looks beautiful. It looks really cool. It's a very unique MMO. And before we get into some of those questions, I just have a personal question about you. What are some games that got you into into designing video games?
Well, actually, it's a bit weird to say, but my first MMO that I played was actually from Funcom. It was Anarchy Online, and I was studying programming and system development at the time. And a lot of time went to play Anarchy Online, and I just got fascinated by it, and I wanted to work for Funcom so badly. So after I was finished studying, I was like, now I can either get a real job or I can go make computer games. And I really wanted to make computer games, so I started working for Funcom. Got really lucky, and here I am. But before that, I've always been playing games. I started out on the Spectrum, had an Atari, had a Commodore 64, press play on tape, Amiga, PS1. PS2, played all sorts of games, but really Anarchy Online was what I got so fascinated by it, and the whole world, the universe of onlineness.
Yeah, and AO was an amazing game. It was really expansive, and you heard it here first. Designing computer games, not a real job. So, what are you guys showcasing here? It's Secret World. It's an MMO. Tell for people that don't really know about the game or hearing it for the first time, what exactly is it all about, man?
Okay, so The Secret World is an MMORPG set in modern times, where and we don't have any classes or levels, which is pretty unique in these days at least. So there was an incident in the past in the game world. It's a couple of weeks ago. Something happened and darkness is arising. All the myths and legends that we have heard of is suddenly becoming true. Vampires are lurking in the street, werewolves are waking up, all these trolls are coming up. So the catchphrase is everything is true. Everything you've ever heard of is true. But the Earth, Gaia herself, are picking out certain warriors, which will be the players, to defend her in this rising tide of darkness. So the player joins one of 3 secret societies: the Dragon, located in Seoul, the Templar, located in London, or Illuminati, located in New York. And each of these 3 secret societies have their own agenda. They want to be sort of like the rulers at the end, but they realize that they have to fight the rising tide of darkness first, all these monsters. So what that means for the player is that a player can team up with anyone from any secret societies when they go out and do the PvE content, fighting the monsters. But when it comes to PvP, and the battle for world domination, it's gloves off and all-out warfare. And as I mentioned, we don't have any classes, so it's all about abilities that you bring with you. And we have over 500 unique abilities in the game, and a player can learn every single one of them with a single character. But you have to make a selection before you go into combat. You have to pick 7 active powers and 7 passive powers. So the active powers work like you hit them and you cast a fireball, or you do a sword attack, or shooting a shotgun. And the passive powers are sort of like whenever you crit, you inflict the bleed. Or whenever you heal, you also do an AoE damage around you, stuff like that. So it's all about finding these cool combinations of powers to be effective in combat.
That's really cool, and I really like the no-class system. It's sort of, I believe you describe it as play the game the way you want to play, correct?
That's the whole mentality for the whole game. Play the way you want to play, and look the way you want to look. Because that's another cool thing. The clothing in the game doesn't have any stats. It's pure visual, so you can look the way you want to look. You can tank the hardest mob in the game with a tank top and hot pads if you want. But we have items that do have stats. They're called chakras, more like soul implants in a way, that do have multiple different stats. And the items in the games are really cool because they're made up with a prefix, a core, and a suffix, kind of like Diablo, like bleeding, shotgun of smiting, that kind of thing. So there's tons of millions of different items you can get in the game. So it's all about finding what items are suiting the set of abilities that you have on you.
Very cool, very cool. And you know, there is such an expansive class or ability system. There's the chakra system, and how do those abilities come into play? Are you trying to get away from sort of the Trinity system where it's the tank, DPS, and heals, or do you build upon that and expand upon that?
Well, yes. What we're trying to do is we don't want to lock players down to a role or a class. You know, in traditional MMOs, you start out, let's say you start as a warrior, and you play the warrior all the way till the end game. And then you realize, now I want to play as a healer. Then you have to re-roll, create a new character, nobody knows who you are, nobody knows your new name. You have to play through the content that you already played while your friends are at the end game. In our game, you don't have to do that. You can play the same character, and you can switch out your role as you please. But of course, you have to make these choices, because we can't have a game where everybody's running around like a tank mage priest. So so you have to make this selection between these 7 active powers and 7 passive powers. So we're just trying to make players play the way you want to play. We present you with a challenge, and it's up to you how you want to overcome that challenge.
While a tank mage priest sounds awesome, and I would love to play that class, I totally understand. So what exactly, so I saw in the demo that you showed that there is a dynamic environment where it changes and it sort of teaches the players how to move around, and it teaches them how to avoid obstacles and danger. Sort of what comes into play when you're running around this world, when you're exploring these dungeons and these instances, and you're fighting these massive bosses that I saw?
Well, in this demo, we showed a couple of different things. First of all, we've shown how the players can utilize our Dream World engine and place out dynamic light sources. We've seen one example where you're running around with a headlamp, and you can only see where you're pointing your head. And also, after a while, the headlight runs out of batteries, and you have to throw out these flares on the ground that lights up. So we can place out dynamic lighting. And some monsters will be attracted to light, and some players will run away from the light. So it's up to the player how you want to use that. When it comes to the dungeons, we try to teach players different mechanics. We start out easy. We show them a few mechanics on how, for instance, we showed how the Draug pod will explode if the player stands next to it for a while. We show how water plus electricity is a bad thing. So we take into these, we introduce these mechanics slowly, and then as the players progress deeper into the dungeons, more and more of these elements comes into play. And if the players are smart and sort of think about what they actually have played before, they should be okay. So we're sort of trying to reward the smart players.
Cool. Yeah, rewarding smart players is always a good thing. Rewarding dumb players causes problems. So tell us about PvP. You have a very interesting, well, before we get into PvP, you have a very interesting sort of faction system. You have a 3-faction system, and I personally love that. I love seeing a 3-faction system. I loved it in Dark Age of Camelot, and you know, it was good in that. But you know, we haven't really seen a good one since then. And sort of, could you elaborate on the 3-faction system?
Yeah, I mean, I share your opinion. It's about time to have an MMO with 3 secret society or 3 factions. So many MMOs have two sides that just keeps butting heads, but we have 3. We think that's a cool thing. There's always a joker in the mix. There's always deals to be made and deals to be broken and backstabbing. And how this plays out in the secret world is that players can travel around the world to these iconic and legendary locations and fight the other 3 secret societies. What's cool about these locations is that they are capturable, and if a secret society manages to capture and hold any of these locations, they provide bonuses for their entire faction, not only the ones PvPing, so you can change the gameplay for everyone. And what we introduced for the first time here today was the persistent war zones that are open 24/7. And these in these war zones, you have over 100 players clashing together in these epic battles. And if a secret society managed to capture and hold any of these locations, the rewards are amazing. They're really, really good. So that we hope that we provided sort of a tool set for the players to have fun with, battle and have make deals and break deals, and sort of we hope that it sort of becomes a meta game around this.
That sounds so cool. I can't wait for that, and it's such a unique system that I mean it looks great, it feels great, and it seems as though the three factions will really clash against each other. The story has really been built into it as well. If you could say if you could sum up your game in one word, how would you describe it?
Awesome.
Very cool. You heard it here first. Check out The Secret World. What's the site?
thesecretworld.com.
secretworld.com. And when can gamers get their grubby little paws on it?
The game is releasing in April 2012.
All right. And when does beta come out?
Beta has already started, but the public beta sign-up will start next week.
Cool. So sign up for beta with The Secret World. Thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your PAX.
You too.
All right. Thanks.